Ladies and gentlemen, motivation, it's a word we hear all the time. But what does it really mean? We see people who seem to have endless energy and enthusiasm, people who are always moving forward, always striving for greatness. But here's the truth, motivation is not a constant. It's not something that just happens and stays with you forever. It's a temporary force that you must learn to control. Here's the honest truth, motivation is fickle. It comes and goes like the tide. You can't always rely on it to get you where you want to go. In fact, motivation is often the spark, not the fire. It's the momentary burst of energy that gets you started, but it's discipline, focus, and consistency that keep you moving forward when the motivation fades. The key is to understand that motivation isn't the end-all be-all. It's about creating systems, building habits, and cultivating an environment where discipline and action can thrive, even on days when you don't feel like it. The trick is to get started even when you don't feel like it. And when motivation isn't there, you'll discover that momentum will keep you moving forward step by step. It's easy to look at someone who's successful and assume they're always motivated, but what you don't see is the work behind the scenes, the grind, the routine. Motivation may give you the energy to start, but it's persistence and the ability to keep going that truly defines success. So I ask you, stop waiting for motivation to strike. Build the habits, the systems, and the mindset that will carry you through the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. Motivation, my friends, is a tricky thing. It comes, it goes, and it can vanish just as quickly as it appeared. One moment you feel like you can conquer the world, and the next you're wondering where all that energy and drive went. This is the truth many fail to realize early on, that motivation is not a permanent fixture. It's like a wave that crashes in, builds up momentum, and then recedes back out. You can't count on it being there when you need it the most. Now, don't get me wrong, motivation has its purpose. It's that spark, that initial push that gets you moving. It ignites the desire to act and gives you the energy to take those first steps. But here's where most people get it wrong. They wait for motivation to strike before they do anything. They think that once they feel that rush of energy, it's time to move. But by the time they're waiting for motivation, the opportunity has often passed, or worse, they've wasted so much time waiting for the feeling to come back that they never actually accomplish anything. The truth is, motivation will not always be there. Some days you'll wake up and feel like doing nothing. And that's when you realize that relying solely on motivation is a mistake. The trick is to understand that motivation is only the catalyst, it's not the fuel. Fuel comes from your discipline, your routines, your commitment to showing up day in and day out, whether or not you feel like it. When motivation is gone, your discipline, your will to continue will carry you forward. It's this consistency that makes the difference in the long run. So the key is not to be dependent on motivation, but to learn how to work without it. You've got to develop a mindset where you make progress no matter how you feel. That's the secret to creating real, lasting success. Motivation may light the fire, but it's your actions, your daily commitment that keeps the fire burning. The discipline, my friends, is where the real power lies. It's the backbone of success, the muscle that keeps everything moving when motivation is nowhere to be found. You see, motivation can be fleeting, but discipline is reliable. It's the steady, consistent force that pushes you forward whether you're feeling inspired or not. Discipline is what gets you up early, even when you don't want to. It's what drives you to do what needs to be done, even on the days when you'd rather stay in bed or take the easy route. What most people don't realize is that discipline isn't about having the perfect plan or the perfect mood. It's not about being motivated or having everything figured out. It's about doing the things you need to do every single day, no matter what. It's the ability to follow through on your commitments regardless of how you feel in the moment. And that's where success is made. When you can consistently show up and do the work, even when it's tough, even when you don't feel like it, that's when you start to see the real results. Discipline separates those who talk about success from those who actually achieve it. It's what keeps you moving toward your goals when the initial excitement has worn off. It's what helps you get back on track after setbacks, failures, or bad days. Most people start with enthusiasm, but when things get hard, they give up. They lack the discipline to keep pushing through, and that's why so many people end up falling short. But those who stick to the plan, who keep showing up, who keep grinding even when motivation is long gone, they're the ones who eventually win. Discipline is the true measure of whether or not you'll achieve your goals, because it's what makes success a daily habit, not a temporary burst of energy. So if you want to build something meaningful, if you want to go beyond just dreaming and actually start achieving, you need to cultivate discipline. It's not flashy, it's not glamorous, but it's what turns your desires into reality. It's the quiet, consistent work that compounds over time, bringing you closer to your goals even when the path is tough. Discipline, my friends, is where the magic happens. There's a tendency, to wait for the perfect moment, the right conditions, the ideal circumstances before you take that first step. But let me tell you something, there's no such thing as the perfect time to start. It's never going to be perfect. If you wait for everything to line up, for all the stars to align just right, you'll never get started. And that's the problem for so many people. They spend their lives waiting for the conditions to be just right, thinking that motivation will strike, that everything will fall into place, and only then will they take action. But that's not how it works. The truth is, you're never going to have everything figured out. You're never going to know all the answers, and you're never going to feel completely ready. So the real secret is simple: start anyway. Don't wait for the perfect time, because it doesn't exist. The best time to start is now, imperfect, uncertain, and maybe even a little scary, but starting is the key to moving forward. You might not have all the resources, all the knowledge, or even the confidence you need, but that doesn't matter. Action is what leads to progress. The first step is always the hardest, but it's also the most important. Once you take that first step, the next one becomes a little easier, and the one after that even easier. And what you'll find is that by starting, you're giving yourself a chance to learn, to grow, and to act. You're creating momentum that will carry you further than you ever imagined. If you wait for everything to be perfect, you appear to be waiting forever. You'll be waiting for the right moment, the right amount of time, the right resources, and meanwhile, life keeps moving forward without you. So stop waiting for motivation to show up. Stop waiting for everything to fall into place. You just take the first step. Even if you don't have all the answers, it's in the doing that you will figure it out. The key is to start, to get moving, and to trust that the next step will reveal itself as you go. Success doesn't come to those who wait, it comes to those who take action, even when they don't have it all together. So whatever it is you're hesitating on, whatever you're holding back from, start anyway. The road will never be perfect, but every journey begins with that first courageous step. If you're looking to achieve success, to truly make lasting progress, there's one thing you must understand: motivation alone won't get you where you want to go. Motivation is the spark, but systems and habits, that's what will carry you through the journey. You need to create a structure, a process that works for you, and you need to make that process a daily part of your life. Systems and habits are what transform fleeting bursts of energy into steady, consistent progress. Think about it. It's easy to get excited about a goal or a project when you first start, but excitement fades. Life gets in the way, challenges pop up. And when those moments come, you'll need something more than motivation to keep moving forward. That's where systems and habits come into play. A system is simply a process or a set of actions that you repeat day in and day out. It's the routine that allows you to stay on track, even when the excitement wears off. A habit is a part of that system, a small, consistent action that you do automatically. When you build habits, you're building the foundation for success. It's the daily repetition of those habits that ultimately leads to results. Too many people try to rely on willpower or motivation to get them through the tough days, but that's a losing game. You can't depend on motivation when life gets hard. What you can depend on, though, is the system you've put in place and the habits you've developed. Those habits will keep you moving forward, even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Now, creating those habits isn't always easy. It takes time, it takes discipline, but it's absolutely essential. Start small. Don't try to overhaul your entire life in one go. Begin by making a commitment to one habit, one system. Maybe it's something simple like reading for 20 minutes every morning or planning your day the night before. Whatever it is, start small, but be consistent. As you stick to it, it will become second nature. Once you have that habit, add another, and then another. Over time, those small habits will add up. They will compound, and they'll create a snowball effect that propels you toward your goals. Eventually, you'll realize that you don't need to rely on motivation to get things done because your system and habits are driving you forward. Success doesn't happen overnight. It happens when you consistently follow the systems and habits that you've created for yourself. They become the framework for your growth, the structure that keeps you moving forward even on the days when motivation is nowhere to be found. So if you want to succeed, don't just focus on the big goal. Focus on the systems and habits that will get you there, and watch how those small, consistent actions lead to massive results over time. Here's the truth, my friends: consistency is what separates the successful from the ones who just dream about success. Too many people fall for the trap of thinking that motivation is the key to achieving their goals. They wait for that burst of excitement, that spark of energy before they take action. But here's the reality: motivation fades. It doesn't last. It's like a gust of wind that blows through and then is gone before you can really take advantage of it. Consistency, on the other hand, is what keeps you going. It's the steady, unwavering commitment to showing up every day and doing the work, even when you don't feel like it. Success isn't built on a few big bursts of energy. It's built on the small, consistent actions you take every day, no matter how you feel. See, anyone can be motivated for a short time. You get excited about a new project, a new goal, and for a few days, maybe even a week, you're all in. But motivation doesn't sustain itself. Life happens, distractions come, and sooner or later that initial excitement fades. The ones who succeed are the ones who push through those moments, who keep showing up day after day, regardless of whether they feel like it. Here's where consistency makes all the difference. It's the habit of showing up, even when the motivation is gone, that gets the job done. It's the commitment to doing what needs to be done, even when you don't feel like doing it, that creates real lasting progress. The little things done consistently compound over time to create huge results. If you rely on motivation, you'll be on an emotional roller coaster. Some days you'll feel unstoppable, and other days you'll want to quit. But if you rely on consistency, if you make a commitment to take action every single day, no matter what, you'll make steady progress, even when motivation is nowhere in sight. It's not about big gestures or grand moments of inspiration. It's about showing up day after day, doing the things you know need to be done. It's about building momentum through small, consistent actions, even when the excitement has worn off. If you want to succeed, stop waiting for motivation to strike. Instead, focus on building a routine of consistent action. The results will come. Not tomorrow, not next week, but over time as your small daily efforts compound into something big. Consistency trumps motivation every time. It's the key that unlocks lasting success. Momentum is one of the most powerful forces you can harness in life. It's that force that once you get moving makes everything easier. When you start to gain momentum, things begin to flow. You start making progress faster, and you realize that what seemed difficult or overwhelming at first is now manageable. But here's the catch. You don't get momentum without first taking action. When you start something new, it can feel like you're pushing a heavy boulder uphill. The effort required is enormous, and at times you wonder if it's even worth it. But what people often fail to realize is that the hardest part is getting started. Once you take that first step, once you begin the work, you start to build momentum. And with momentum, what once felt impossible becomes easier. You build energy, build confidence, and before long, you don't even have to think about it. You're in motion, and the momentum is doing the work for you. Momentum is a snowball effect. It starts small, but as long as you keep pushing, it picks up speed. The more you do, the easier it gets, and the more momentum you have, the more unstoppable you become. But here's the thing, momentum doesn't just show up on its own. You have to create it by taking consistent action. It's about showing up day after day, even when things are tough or you don't feel like it. The act of showing up over and over is what begins to fuel that momentum. Think of it like a train. When the train is at a standstill, it takes a lot of effort to get it moving. But once it starts rolling, it doesn't take nearly as much energy to keep it going. The same principle applies to your life. The first few steps, the first few actions are the hardest. But as you continue to move, as you keep doing the work, the momentum begins to build and things start to happen more easily. So what does this mean for you? It means that if you feel stuck, or if you're struggling to make progress, the solution is simple. Start. Take that first step, no matter how small. And then keep moving forward. Even on the tough days, keep showing up. The momentum you build from your daily actions will eventually carry you further than you ever imagined. Remember, momentum doesn't just appear out of nowhere. You create it. And once you have it, it will push you toward your goals faster than you ever thought possible. So don't wait for things to feel perfect. Don't wait for motivation to show up. Take action and let momentum do the rest. Too many people focus on the end goal. And while that's important, it's not the whole picture. The truth is, success doesn't happen overnight. And it's not just about reaching the destination. The real magic, the real growth happens in the process, the daily steps, the consistent actions, the routine. If you're always fixated on the end result, you'll miss out on the one thing that actually gets you there, the process itself. The process is where the work happens. It's the daily grind, the behind-the-scenes effort that most people never see. It's not glamorous, it's not always exciting, but it's what builds the foundation for success. If you only focus on the big, distant goal, you might become overwhelmed. The mountain looks too steep, the path too long, and eventually you might quit before you ever even start. But when you focus on the process, you break down the goal into manageable steps. You begin to see that success is not about the big leaps, it's about taking one step at a time every single day. Here's the key. When you focus on the process, you take control of what you can control. You can't always control when success will come or how quickly you'll reach your goals, but you can control your actions. You can control the effort you put in, the habits you build, and the consistency you maintain. It's the day in, day out commitment to the process that turns small actions into big results. It's the daily dedication to showing up, doing the work, and getting better each day that moves you closer to where you want to be. Too many people get discouraged because they don't see instant results. They're focused on the outcome. And when the outcome doesn't come fast enough, they lose faith. But if you can learn to love the process, to embrace the journey, you'll find that success comes naturally. Every small action, every small win is a part of the greater picture. The process is where you build the habits, the discipline, and the character that will carry you through to your goal. And let's be clear, focusing on the process isn't about ignoring the goal. It's about putting your energy into the right things. If you focus on the process, you'll find that the end result will take care of itself. When you do the work consistently, when you stick to the plan, you'll be amazed at how the pieces start to fall into place. So stop obsessing over the end goal. Stop stressing about when it's going to happen or how you're going to get there. Instead, focus on what you can do today. Focus on the actions you can take, the habits you can build, and the steps you can follow. Make the process the priority and let the results follow. Because the process is the real key to success. It's what turns dreams into reality. Here's a truth that a lot of people miss. The real work is done behind the scenes. The part of success that no one sees, the late nights, the early mornings, the sacrifices that no one acknowledges, that's where the magic happens. While others are busy showing off their results, the ones who truly achieve greatness are the ones who are quietly putting in the work, often when no one's looking. It's easy to get caught up in the idea of instant success, of big moments, of flashy breakthroughs, but those moments are built on what happens when the lights aren't on you. While others are out seeking attention or waiting for validation, the real winners are focused on what needs to be done behind the scenes. They are working on their craft, perfecting their skills, building their mindset, and setting themselves up for long-term success. The world may not see it, but that's where the true foundation is laid. Think about it. Success doesn't happen in front of a camera, and it doesn't happen in the spotlight. It happens when you're alone doing the hard work that no one is cheering for. That's where discipline is built, where habits are formed, and where you refine your skills. It's easy to want recognition, but the reality is that recognition comes after the hard work, not before. If you're doing the work behind the scenes, the results will eventually speak for themselves. The truth is, people will notice the end result, the success, the recognition, the reward, but they rarely see the process that got you there. They'll see the polished product, the finished book, the successful business, the fit body, but they won't see the hours spent studying, training, or failing. They won't see the sacrifices you made or the moments when you wanted to give up but pushed through anyway. And that's okay, because it's not about the recognition. It's about doing the work for the right reasons, for your own growth, for your own fulfillment. If you're serious about success, you have to get comfortable with working behind the scenes. You have to learn to enjoy the grind, to find fulfillment in the process, even when no one is watching. If you put in the work, the results will come. But they don't come from the moments when you're looking for applause or attention. They come from the hours you spend working when no one else is around, from the quiet dedication to the craft, the skill, and the knowledge that success is earned, not given. So let go of the need for immediate recognition. Stop worrying about what others think. Put your head down, do the work, and trust that the behind-the-scenes effort will pay off in the long run. The real rewards, the real success come to those who are willing to put in the work when no one's watching, because that's where true greatness is built. Motivation is a powerful force, no doubt about it. It can get you excited, get you moving, and give you that initial push to take action. But here's the hard truth: motivation alone won't make you successful. If you think that simply feeling inspired or excited is all it takes, you're in for a rude awakening. Motivation can be fleeting, and relying solely on it to carry you through is a mistake that many people make. Success, real success, doesn't come from motivation. It comes from the actions you take when motivation is nowhere to be found. It's easy to be motivated when things are going well, when everything is lined up, when the energy is high and you feel unstoppable. But motivation is like a burst of energy. It doesn't last forever. There will be days when you don't feel like doing the work, when you don't have that spark, and when you'd rather quit than keep pushing forward. That's when the real test begins. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is what they do when the motivation is gone. It's about showing up when you don't feel like it, doing the work even when you're not in the mood. The truth is, success comes from consistency, discipline, and a commitment to your goals, regardless of how you feel in the moment. It's about creating systems, building habits, and sticking to a plan even when motivation is nowhere to be found. Motivation is great. It can get you started. It can help you push through a tough tooth of A, but it's not enough to carry you across the finish line. Success is about more than just feeling motivated. It's about taking the necessary steps day after day, even when things are tough, even when the enthusiasm fades. You have to understand that motivation is not the engine that drives success. It's the fuel. Fuel will burn out, but the engine, the work you do consistently, the habits you build, the effort you put in regardless of your mood, that's what keeps you moving forward. It's about taking action even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing what needs to be done, not when it's easy, but when it's hard. The ones who succeed are the ones who keep pushing, who keep working, who keep going when everyone else has stopped. So stop waiting for motivation to come and get you moving. Stop relying on it to do the work for you. You need something more solid, more reliable. You need discipline. You need systems. You need habits that will keep you going when motivation is nowhere to be found. Because, my friends, motivation alone won't make you successful. It's the commitment, the consistency, and the willingness to do what needs to be done Regardless of how you feel, that will bring you the success you're after. Motivation is a powerful tool, no doubt about it. It's that burst of energy, that spark that can get you moving and excited about your goals. But here's the thing, too many people let motivation be their master. They wait for it to show up, they depend on it to get them through the tough days, and when it's not there, they're stuck. Motivation can be fickle, it doesn't always show up when you need it, and it certainly doesn't last forever. If you let it control you, you're setting yourself up for frustration. The key is to make motivation your servant, not your master. When you learn to control your motivation, to use it as a tool instead of relying on it to carry you, you unlock a whole new level of power. Instead of waiting for motivation to come and push you into action, you create systems and habits that will keep you moving forward regardless of how you feel. You see, motivation can get you started, but it's discipline, consistency, and perseverance that will keep you going. When motivation is your master, you're at its mercy. If you wake up one morning and feel tired, uninspired, or discouraged, you'll find yourself putting off what needs to be done, waiting for that burst of motivation to kick in. But that's a dangerous game. Motivation is unreliable, and if you depend on it, you'll never make the progress you want. You'll be stuck in a cycle of waiting for the right moment, and that moment will never come. On the other hand, when you make motivation your servant, you control when and how it shows up. You don't wait for motivation to take action, you take action and let motivation follow. By building strong systems, creating daily habits, and committing to your goals, you'll start to see that motivation is always ready to serve you when you need it. The more you show up, the more you put in the work, the more motivation will come, because momentum breeds motivation. In this way, motivation becomes a tool to reinforce the work you're already doing. It's the extra fuel you use to keep the fire burning when you're already moving, not the thing that gets the engine started. You have to train yourself to take action even when motivation is nowhere to be found, and in doing so, you'll find that motivation will show up more often. And when it does, it will amplify your efforts. So don't let motivation control you. Stop waiting for the right moment to act. Instead, take control of your habits, your routines, and your daily actions, and let motivation serve you as a catalyst for even greater results. When you make motivation your servant, you'll find that your success isn't determined by how you feel in any given moment. It's determined by the consistent, deliberate actions you take every day, whether motivation is there or not.